Okay, we have made it to strand two. So strand one was all about literature. Strand two is going to be about informational texts. So the first thing we are going to look at is lesson five, which is about articles. So you were to read about articles, and um, one of the big things I wanted to touch on was the part about inferences, because that's something we looked at a lot at school, and it's going to be really important next year also that you know how to make an inference. And an inference is when you use what you already know, so like your background knowledge, what's already in your head, and what you've read in the text to come up with your answer or an inference. So what I already know plus what I read comes together to make an inference. So it says, when you read nonfiction, you can also use the available facts and details to make inferences. An inference is a guess based on text evidence and reasoning. So that reasoning is your background knowledge. What inference can you make about why the mayor canceled the parade? So in this, it says the Founders Day Parade, I'm on page 68. The Founders Day Parade was canceled. After 3 days of severe storms, the day started out sunny. However, a wave of cool air moved in by mid-morning. When dark clouds rolled across the sky, the mayor canceled the parade. What can I infer about why the mayor canceled the parade? Based on my background knowledge, I know that a parade takes place outside. I also know that people don't like to stand outside when it's storming and raining. So I can make the inference based on what I've read in this purple box on page 68 and what I already know, make the inference that the mayor canceled the parade because of bad weather or the chance of bad weather. Okay? So another thing that's important is text structure. So whether the text is in sequence order, if they're comparing and contrasting things, if it's cause and effect or problem solution. So please, if you didn't read that again, page 69, that's super important. If you had taken the AIR test this year, I'm sure that would have been on there. It will tell you to read something and then say, well, how is this text structured? And you would have to come up with an answer using one of those things: sequence, compare and contrast, cause and effect, or problem solution. Okay, so that is also going to be a good thing to know. And I'm just trying to give you some tips, since we're not in school, of things that you will need to know next year so that you're ready to go when you get to 5th grade. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and look at number one on page 73. Number one says, read the sentences from the passage and the questions that follow. During a tornado, follow the plan. Stay calm and move to a safe place. If you are indoors, sit facing a wall with your elbows to your knees. Cover the back of your head with your hands. If you are outdoors, go inside as quickly as possible. If you are at school, follow the school safety plan and all instructions from your teachers. Which sentences tell you what you should do if you are indoors? Underline those sentences. Okay, so you should have underlined anything in that part that I just read that shows what you should do if you're indoors. So underline, if you are indoors, sit facing a wall with your elbows to your knees. Cover the back of your head with your hands. Those should be underlined. Then it says, what inference can you make based on the sentences you underlined in part A? A, school is the safest place to be during a tornado. No, what we just underlined doesn't have to do with the part about school. B, it is better to be inside during a tornado. What we just underlined does not make us inference that it's better to be. Yes, it is, we know that, but nothing that we said, we underlined, really is telling us that. C, indoor objects may fall during a tornado. We'll come back to that. D, All schools have the same safety plan for tornadoes. So D, we're not talking about the school part. So C is the correct answer. Indoor objects may fall during a tornado. How did we make that inference? Well, the text says to cover the back of your head with your hands, face a wall, and put your elbows to your knees. So I can make the inference from my background knowledge that if I'm covering my head and ducking down, then something is possibly going to fall on me, and I'm trying to protect my head. Okay? All right, so number 2. Which of these choices best summarizes the passage? So if we look back at the passage, it's all about tornado safety. So is this the best summary? Most tornadoes happen in the United States. No, that's not what it's all about. B, tornadoes are dangerous storms with twisting winds. No. C, a family needs to set aside supplies. That's very small for a summary. It talked about a lot more than that in the article. D, a safety plan can help your family stay safe during a tornado. Yes, that is the best summary. Number 2 is going to be D. Also, underneath number 2 where it says hint, what is the article mostly about? Reread the headings. What do they tell you? Well, that is a really good hint. You can, hold on, I'll hold it up. Not this page, page 72. It's backwards, but you get the point. It says make a plan, practice your plan, and follow your plan. So those tell me that a safety plan can help your family stay safe. D. Those hints can be really helpful, especially if you're stuck on a question. So don't forget to read those. Number 3. What text features does the author include in the passage? So if you go back to page 70, it gives you a list of text features. So let's go through it. The first one it gives us is head and subheads. These tell us what a section of an article is about. They help readers find information quickly. So heading would be make a plan. That would be your heading. And then these are subheadings, warning signs, shelter, supplies. And this is a heading again, practice your plan. And this is a heading again, follow your plan. So we can write headings and subheadings. What else? Bulleted lists. Well, there you go. We talk a lot about bulleted lists in my class because I like using bulleted lists. So you should be familiar with bullet points like this. Warning signs, shelter, those all have bullet points next to them. Another text feature is a caption, which is something below or above a photograph or graphic that explains what the picture is about. So right here we have this picture, and then there's a caption right here. The caption says, in parts of the country where tornadoes are common, emergency sirens alert people to possible danger. Then the last text feature is a sidebar, a separate block of text that relates to the main article. It may give additional interesting facts or share a different point of view. So that would be right here in the did you know? That's a sidebar. 3 of every 4 tornadoes on Earth touch down in the United States. Okay, so then we have part B. Based on the headings, what text structure does the author use to organize the passage? So if we look back at the headings, they are make a plan, practice your plan, follow your plan. So if you're making the plan, then you practice your plan, and then you follow your plan. You are going in sequence. It's going in order. Make it, practice it, then finally follow it. Okay? So that would be A, sequence is the answer. Okay, C, part C, how do the headings summarize the main points of the passage? Well, the headings are what I just said. Make the plan, practice the plan, follow the plan. And those summarize the overall point of the article, which is that having a safety plan for your family can really help you stay safe during a tornado. All right, let's go to number 4. Read this sentence from the passage. These severe storms are funnel-shaped clouds with dangerous twisting winds. What does severe mean? Severe means violent, B. So they're extreme, they're violent, they're aggressive. So the answer to part A is going to be violent. Synonym means a word that means the same. Severe means violent. Which word is an antonym of severe? So antonym means opposite. So what's the opposite of violent? Use what you put for part A. What's the opposite of violent? We would look at our words. A, gentle. Opposite of violent would be gentle. So the opposite of severe would be gentle. A. Okay. All right, then we have our next article. So let's go ahead and start answering the questions. Number 1, which detail from the text identifies how storm spotters are different from storm chasers? A, the NWS runs training programs for spotters across the United States. B, Skywarn started in the 1960s. C, spotters stay close to home. D, it is dangerous to be in the path of a severe storm. So if you read the article, it is about how spotters stay home and spot the tornadoes, whereas chasers go out and they chase the tornadoes. So C would be the correct answer. Spotters stay close to home, and that shows how they're different from chasers. Number 2, read these sentences from the passage and follow the directions. Many people and programs contribute to this effort. There are storm spotters and storm chasers. The two are different. Spotters stay close to home. They report on weather in their area. Chasers are on the move. They will travel hundreds of miles to find storms as they form. Name the text structure the author uses to organize this section of the passage. Ooh, fun. Okay, so let's look at our text structures. Is this set up as sequence? Does it go in order? No. Compare and contrast, cause and effect, or problem and solution? Well, what this passage is about is storm spotters and storm chasers and how they are alike and different. So ding, 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 compare and contrast. That would be your answer for number 2, compare and contrast. And to explain your answer, you should write that the sentences are telling about the similarities and the differences between storm spotters and storm chasers. 3, read the sentence from the passage in the directions that follow. They also wanted to know why some tornadoes are strong, but others are weak. What word is an antonym for weak? You guys should have got this one right. Circle the word strong. Strong would be the opposite of weak. So you're circling the word strong in the sentence on number 3. Number 4, which sentences support the main idea that the NWS wants to keep people safe from tornadoes? Check all that apply. So any of these that have to do with the NWS keeping people safe from tornadoes should be circled. So A, the NWS runs training programs for spotters across the United States. Yes, I would say that supports that they want to keep people safe. So circle A. Then we're going to go down to D. Although the NWS appreciates help from storm spotters, it discourages storm chasers. I would circle D because that shows that the NWS does not want people to get hurt from chasing a storm. And then F, the NWS wanted to improve that record because early accurate warnings save lives. That definitely shows they want to keep people safe. All right, number 5. Though the vortex projects have ended, scientists are still studying the data the storm chasing teams collected. The NWS expects the information will help them better protect people and property in the future. What can we infer about scientific research from these sentences? So the sentences say that scientists are still studying the data that storm chasing teams have collected, even though it was collected a long time ago. So they're still studying it. So what can we infer? We can infer B, that it takes a lot of time to analyze data. So number 5 would be B. All right, 6, identify the main idea of the passage and the key details that support the main idea. Then write a summary of the passage to restate the main idea and details in your own words. So you can do, write down the main idea and details on another piece of paper and then make it into your summary so that you know what you're about to write about. What I would do is make a big circle, put your main idea in there, and then branches off that tell the key details that support that main idea. So the main idea in this passage is overall what the passage is about. So I would say overall this passage is about how many people and programs work hard to keep people safe from tornadoes. And then our key details can be all the different people and programs that work hard to keep people safe from tornadoes. So some of the key details would be storm chasers. They chase down the storm so that they can tell others where it is originating or starting and where it is going. Or storm spotters that tell the same kind of thing about where it started and also maybe what direction it's headed or how close it is. And then there are also there's a program called Skywarn that they talk about, which is a storm spotting program. There's a program called Vortex, which is a storm chasing program. There's also new technology coming out every day, and the research is still continuing. So I just gave you a bulleted list of key details that support the main idea that many people and programs work hard to protect people from tornadoes. So when you write your summary, you're going to have to make those into sentences because you can't just write a couple words and think that's a sentence. So for example, about Vortex, I said it's a storm chasing program. Tell me more. Tell me a few details from the text about that program and what it does. So like I said, I would suggest on a separate piece of paper writing your main idea that many people and programs work hard to protect people from tornadoes, and then branch off your key details, storm chasers, storm spotters, Skywarn, Vortex, new technology, research, and then make all of that into a summary and using complete sentences and really good information and details. Make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. All right, tomorrow we will move on to lesson 6. So make sure you're keeping up with your work and correcting everything and making sure it's the best it can be. All right, see you later.